Hey, come here, I want to show you the most important piece of real estate I've ever invested in. It's the real estate right here in your mind. Creative real estate. And I'm going to talk about the 5 fundamentals of how you can learn how to think creatively so you can create wealth in your life. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 paradigms of creative real estate investing. And so what do I mean by that? Well, creative investing means that nobody else is doing it. They're all doing it the traditional way, and that's why they're stuck. I want you to be creative, open to all kinds of possibilities. Yes, I'm going to teach you in this segment how to think outside the box. Cultivating a creative mind. Well, some people will tell you that you must spend money to make money. Don't believe it. You will eventually run out of cash. And then what are you going to do? You'll never run out of creativity. So that's where I want to share with you what's the next step when you run out of money or when you don't have money to get started with. I've shared with you in other videos on this channel about my story of getting started, and I had $1,000 when I graduated and no job and no credit and nothing else. But I wanted to invest in real estate. And so without really knowing too much about it, I just went out there, found a highly motivated seller. She took my $1,000 down payment and she became the mortgagor. She lent me the money for the mortgage. Now, why is that creative? Because if I'd gone to a real estate agent, they would have told me what I had just done was impossible, and yet I just did it. And so having done it, now I started looking through the world with creative eyes and saw other opportunities, which is what I'm trying to teach you. How to see the world through creative eyes. So the foundation of all of this creative thinking is positive thinking. You have to have a can-do attitude, like I can find something out there. But if you have a can't-do attitude, like it's not possible, you'll never find it. So let's learn how to think positively. So if you continually tell yourself it can't be done, it will never be done. Creativity is born and nurtured in an environment of can-do thoughts. Well, what's a can't-do thought? Well, if you think you can't do it because you don't have money, that it takes money to make money, and therefore you won't even go looking. And if you won't look, you won't find. If you won't find, you won't create wealth. So you have to have the mindset that somewhere out there, I know I'm going to find it. And if you keep looking with persistence, you will find it. The second quality you must develop to have creative thinking is broad-mindedness. And what do I mean by that? Regard obvious solutions as only a small percentage of the solutions that will ultimately work. Whenever someone says, I must have cash, dig deeper for a better solution. And I shared with you before, the piano keyboard of creative real estate investing has 50 notes on it, 50 notes you can play. The creative real estate investor has all kinds of ways of coming up with the solutions to the problem. But a realtor, an uncreative realtor, only has one note on the piano. Cash, 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 credit, 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 good job, good job, good job. You know, that is a small percentage of what works. And if you have a broad-minded possibility, you're going to find a way for you to get into that property. For example, I'm in Singapore teaching a seminar, and a lady comes up to me and she says, I read your book and it made me a millionaire. And I said, what book did you read? She says, Nothing Down. And I said, well, tell me, what did you read in the book that opened up your mind so that you can become a millionaire? And she said, actually, I never read the book. I just read the title. And I thought, I can do that. Talk about broad-minded and a millionaire as well. That's what I mean by broad-mindedness. Disdain the ordinary. What does that mean? That means if you're a creative investor, you kind of don't like ordinary ways of doing it. You don't like the traditional ways of doing it. You don't like fixed mindset people. And frankly, most real estate professionals are fixed mindset. They don't see other possibilities. And they actually tell us that it's not possible to buy a property with nothing down because they're so fixed. Well, guess what? I've seen it happen thousands of times in my career where people have told me, I bought this with nothing down, I created that with nothing down. Nothing down is the broad mindset that got them started. So disdain the ordinary. Actually, Look for another opportunity instead of the fundamental ways of doing it. And if you'll train yourself to think in a broader way and actually reject the ordinary way, when you run out of cash, you'll be ready for the opportunities that your creative thinking has created for you. Develop a healthy disdain for ordinary solutions. Try your hardest to practice creative solutions whenever possible. Deal with buyers and sellers who are creative. You can learn from them. So in my career, I've had so many students come up to me and tell me their success stories. This is one of my favorite ones. A gentleman declared bankruptcy. His life went to crap, shall we say. But within 90 days, even with the bankruptcy, no credit, nothing, he found a seller who needed a solution and bought that property, even though the seller knew he was bankrupt. Bought it, solved the seller's problem, and made $1 million on that one single property. So there are no problems that you currently have that you cannot find a solution to. Your problems or the solutions to a seller's problems. That's what creative financing is all about. Now, the fourth creative technique to investing in real estate is to brainstorm. And there's a smart way to brainstorm and a dumb way to brainstorm. Discuss your problem with the real estate agent, the seller, and the seller's attorney. Anyone could have an impact on the decision to buy or sell should be involved. Now, I'm going to modify that just a little bit. I'm going to tell you, watch out, because the agent, if it's not a creative agent, they'll shoot you down. You don't want that. So that's why you look for a real estate agent who owns real estate. They know what it's like themselves, and therefore they know creative financing. What about the attorney? Attorneys have been called deal killers for a reason, because they look at an opportunity and all they see is all the problems in that opportunity. We as entrepreneurs, we see opportunities everywhere. We don't see too many problems. So the bottom line is, you can make sure your attorney is creative also. Make sure your attorney owns real estate, so understands what you're trying to accomplish. Then you can get them together and brainstorm the opportunities. But if you choose the right people to brainstorm with, they'll kill your deal. You don't want that to happen. Deep thinking. This is a great quote. You got to write this quote down. 5% of the people think. 10% of the people think they think. And the other 85% would rather die than think. Thomas A. Edison. Was he a thinker? Was he a creative thinker? Think of all the many inventions he created out of his creative mind, his creative real estate mind. Unbelievable. So really deep thinking is hard work. Why? Because we live in a negative world. Everything is exploding all around us, and we have to maintain our positive attitude. That's important. And our creative attitude. That's important. And our dream attitude. Dreaming what you really want to happen, regardless of the problems you face today. This is hard to do, but rich people do this. They do this constantly, day after day after day. That's why they're so rich. I want you to be financially free. Therefore, learn how to do deep thinking. You're probably still a little bit skeptical, aren't you? Well, I've proven what I've just told you over and over and over again. They sent me to an unemployment line. They let me select people who are broke, out of work, discouraged. In 2 days' time, I taught them how to think creatively. And in 90 days later, they'd bought property. And one of the couples made $100,000 in the next 12 months. I want you to read the book that tells that story and talks about the techniques of thinking that I taught them that made their success happen. Get a copy of The Challenge. I challenge you to get a copy of this book. Click on the link down below, get it, read it, apply it, and on your way to financial freedom. Thanks for watching. Are you a little more creative now? Are you looking at the world through different creative glasses? Well, if so, you're on your way. So subscribe and watch all the videos that'll teach you even more on how you can succeed. If you want to be a real estate investor, this is the place.